Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by a beating heart.
You are a very curious boy, and you were very aware of everything going on around you. When a fire engine would come down the street, you'd pay special attention to the truck, the hoses, the wheel. When a car would come by or a train would come by, you'd have to know what kind of train it was. You always asked a lot of questions, and you were also curious as to how things were put together and how things worked.
As I was talking to my mom, I realized that I probably entered some of the stages in Erikson and Piaget's theories of development a little bit early. My mom always told me from a young age I was curious and I liked to read a lot, and was always interested in not only what things were, but how they worked. And so I probably entered that initiative versus guilt stage a little bit earlier, realizing, kind of what some of my interests were from a really young age, especially when I traveled to London.
When we moved to London, you were 4 years old. And had we stayed in the United States, you wouldn't have had any organized schooling that year. By the time we had lived in London 2 school years, you had quite a bit of education, quite a bit of schooling experience, where in the US you would have just completed your first year of kindergarten, which would have been a half year.
I tried carrying the weight of the world.
From a really young age, I had all of my safety and physiological needs met on Maslow's hierarchy, but it started with sports that my social and esteem needs really became solidified in my life. With friendships, family, I really grew to be able to talk about sports, to be able to play sports, and with esteem, making a tackle, making a basket, getting a hit in baseball, it made it so much more worth it in the long run to be able to, participate in sports when it helped my development overall.
I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself, and I didn't know.
First of all, we felt like the intensity of the education waned in 7th and 8th grade in the parish school, and there was a certain sort of sense of entitlement amongst 8th graders that was very similar to the senior slide in high school. Second thing is, we'd seen just what kids are like at that age, and we felt like you being in an all-boys environment would just be a more positive situation. We felt like the progression from middle school to high school in the same school community would give you a more advanced education through middle school, and I think that's exactly what we experienced.
I think I've come to realize that both Piaget and Kohlberg were very, very close and very accurate, that when I hit that 13 through 20-year-old phase, my middle school and high school years, I really was able to think abstractly and get to that 6th stage, that post-conventional level that Kohlberg talks about, of thinking for myself and really becoming a better person, and really just following different standards that I set for myself, not society.
Swim for the music that saves you when you're not so sure you'll survive.
I've already said it once and I'll say it again, but travel was really the thing that got my brain going and got me up in the morning. That's what I was passionate about. And, walking into the classroom, all of my teachers knew that I've been all over the world, and so they really did well at hitting that zone of proximal development to, get me involved in learning and bring my experiences into the classroom for my other classmates.
Memories like bullets, they fired at me from a gun. With a crack in the
2 big things in my life really contributed to my language development. First was living overseas. As you can see me outside of my school there, and in the next couple of pictures, our family traveling. I was really immersed in different cultures and was able to hear different languages and see them written in different ways all across Europe when we traveled. And so I was really able to realize that, my language wasn't the only one. And then also being in museums all over the place, I knew that, there was a whole other vocabulary that I had not yet even known. And now moving on to these pictures, you can see my musical development a little bit more, and that helped me expand my vocabulary in a whole different language, which was music. And that's something that I will always be thankful for, and that always helped me throughout my educational years.
The currents will pull us away from our love. Just keep
My intelligences I really found in middle and high school, as I knew I was more of a logical thinker, and that went hand in hand with music, as you can see right across from it, and then people and self-smart. And I found that those two, at least, more through experiential education with my friends and being a kinesthetic learner, going on field trips to different places all across the country. I knew that, this is the way I learned, and that's the way that I learned best.
I'm not giving in, 'cause I swam.
My moral development was best supported through the Catholic education I received and being a part of the youth group with that, and just having those morals that were reinforced from home through school, through my youth group, and on various service projects, and learning that, hey, it's okay to step outside of my comfort zone and really take a risk and think for myself sometimes.
You gotta swim, don't let yourself sink. You find the rise.
First of all, Chaminade was a place that reinforced the values that you were taught at home. Also gave you a lot of opportunities to find what you were good at.
To be honest, as my mom said, I really think that Chaminade, my middle and high school, was the place for me that really supported me. That whole environment of being at an all-boys school, a Catholic school, having that moral support and understanding, and so many different clubs and activities I was involved in, just really made my whole experience so much better.
Yeah, swim. Yeah, swim.